Everyone, my name is Emmett Walsh. I'm a medical herbalist at Roscoe Clinic. Today I'm going to speak to you for a few minutes about eczema with children. It's one of my favourite topics actually, and one of my favourite conditions to treat. It is grossly understood in the Western medical world. Many of the perceptions that are there as regards childhood eczema are false and incorrect. I often ask mothers, for example, how long has the child eczema? And the mother says, since birth. There is no such thing as having eczema from birth. No such thing. Eczema, mothers say that my child was born with eczema. No child is born with eczema. Eczema is a condition that develops after birth for whatever reason. The main cause of developing eczema in a very young child, in an infant, is a reaction to milk powder. That is the number one reason. The other main stage or age when young children develop eczema is somewhere in the region between 3 to 9 months old. That is around the time when solids are introduced, and it is probably the most common time for the development of eczema, the introduction of solids into the diet. And one of the most damaging solids that can be introduced into the diet of a young child is breads and all gluten products. Because if there has been any sensitization already within that child from the milk powder, it will be further aggravated by the addition of the most inflammatory food in the Western world today, which is modern gluten. And it is at that stage, as I said, roughly in general, the development is usually at 5 to 6 months with the introduction of the solid foods, that these children develop eczema. So the obvious thing to do is to take those foods out of the child's diet. One of the mistakes that has been made over the past 1 to 2 decades has been the substitution of milk powder with other milk, so-called milk products. For example, soya, almond milk, rice milk, etc. One of the things which I try to do is I try to get the child onto a cow's milk based diet as soon as I can, because it is a well-established fact that cow's milk is the best food for a child once the cow's milk is not harmed in the production process. And unfortunately, that is the problem with baby foods and with proprietary milk that is sold. The milk is damaged through the processing actions. I'm not going to go into that now, but you take my word, that is what is happening. A very important thing to do with a child that has eczema is you must cut out all processed foods, because once the door is opened on one single allergy, initially the allergy possibly to the milk powder, once the door is opened, the door stays opened and the child develops allergies to numerous triggers. And this thing of trying to identify what the offending allergen is a complete waste of time, because there are just too many of them, and it is virtually impossible to trace the trigger. So invariably what we do is change the formula. Probably goat's milk is one of the things that can be considered. Cow's milk can be considered. The use of soya milk and these other milk products can be used as a stopgap measure only. They should not be used long term in developing children, most especially in young boys. Soya milk should not be used for extended periods for young boys. The other thing which is a major contributor is the introduction of fruits into a child's diet at a very early age. And you have these little pots of various fruits that are supposed to be given to infants. Do not give them. An infant is going to be drinking milk until they're at least a year old, and combining milk with any fruits, especially the sour type of fruits, is going to cause problems for a child. I always say to young mothers, look, when I was a child, back in the 50s and 60s, in school, no child had eczema, no child had psoriasis, no child had asthma in my class. None, not one. I don't remember one in the entire school. All we saw was a few snotty noses. That's all we saw. There was nothing like this epidemic that we see today, which is a terrible crime against young children, really. And it is a crime because those that are producing these foods know the effect that these foods are having on our young children, on our future generations. And so if you want more, we'll talk again. Thank you.